Great questions. Wonderful. The time has flown by. It's time for closing 2-minute comments from each of our candidates for Congress. We'll begin with Ms. Teachout.
Thank you again for being here. Thank you for listening. I appreciate each of you really taking your civic role so seriously, not just today, but because of the way in which you engage in this community. I believe in this region. I believe in this country. I am running as an economic patriot. I am running because I believe that we are on the rise. And I believe there's leadership here which we can bring to Washington, a real vision of a renewable energy future, not one based on fracking. Not one based, honestly, on the anchorages in the Hudson. We got to stop the anchorages. Not one based on the Pilgrim Pipeline, but one based instead on a green future, an independent business future. When I go to Washington, I'm going to take your voices with me. I have spent my life being pretty independent, standing up to big companies, and also standing up to members of my own party when I disagree with them. But I'm also pretty good at working across the aisle and working with people who I do disagree with. I look forward to taking the incredible vision that so many of you have here, expressing that in Washington, shaking up Congress a little bit, and moving towards a thriving future economy. Thank you for your time.
Thank you again, Ward and the Chamber and Ms. Teachout and all of you for being here today. It's great civic engagement, and I think this is just tremendous that all of you came. You may have been told you were getting a free breakfast or something to encourage you to come or not, but I don't know. I'm running because our country's in crisis. We're headed in the wrong direction. We've got to grow our economy. We've got to preserve our national security. And we've got to make sure that we leave something for our children and grandchildren. We cannot be the first generation to look ourselves in the mirror and say we're going to leave our kids and grandchildren with a country worse off than what we found. I'm deeply immersed in this community. I live and understand and have worked on the issues throughout this district. I'll work across party lines to work with people who I may not agree with to try to solve problems. It is vitally important that we change the direction of our country and that we have a civil discourse. Unlike some of the stuff you see at the national level today, you have a civil discourse on how do we fix these problems. That's why I say Chris Gibson is a model for me. That's why he strongly supports me. And I appreciate my opponent's energy and her enthusiasm, but much of her suggestions are really out of tune with this district. $15 minimum wage, new mandates from the Department of Labor at federal and state on local small business employers. $15 minimum wage would be great for the food-to-table agriculture movement, except it's in the state of Pennsylvania, not in the state of New York. And so we have to be realistic about what we can afford and what we can actually do. You know, New York City is a great place. They already have 13 members of Congress. We don't need to give them a 14th from our district. And the fact of the matter is, I'll be a homegrown representative of this district. I will be someone who lives and works here and understands these issues because I've lived it. I want to be your member of the House of Representatives because of that. I would be honored and deeply appreciative to have your support on November 8th. Thank you so much.
So on behalf of the Chamber, we want to thank both candidates for appearing today. Nice round of applause for both of them, if you would, at this time. Don't forget to vote. It's Tuesday, November the 8th. Our friends at the League of Women Voters have something called a voter registration form. If you didn't fill one out and you're not registered, please get one and submit it as soon as possible. See you next month for our candidates for New York State Senate. Enjoy the rest of the day.